Hi, my name is Aniol Esteban. I work at the New Economics Foundation, a think and do tank based in London, working for a sustainable economy based on three pillars: environmental sustainability, human well-being, and social justice. Well, the Rio+20 Summit comes at a very interesting point in time. It arrives when the whole world is in the middle of a huge economic and financial crisis. It arrives when we are also in the middle of a climate and natural resources crisis. And it also comes when we are starting to face the problems of an energy crisis. So Rio+20 is a great opportunity to bring everyone together to discuss how the way we do economics, the way we manage our society needs to change in order to face the big challenges that we are facing today, not only in economic terms, but also in climate terms, in environmental terms, in energy terms. Because unless we approach all the ecological instability that we are facing today, we will never be able to have economic stability. So Rio+20 gives us an opportunity to start identifying clear actions, a clear strategy, specific tools and measures to move towards an economy that delivers human well-being in a socially just way within environmental limits. Yes, what the New Economics Foundation understands as a green economy is an economy, as I said earlier, that delivers human well-being in a socially just way, and that does so within the boundaries, the ecological boundaries of the planet. However, some people understand a green economy as a subsector of the economy, meaning the renewable energy sector, the ecological agriculture sector, some technology companies which are part of the green economy. What we mean by a green economy, it's not a subsector of the whole economy. We mean a whole transformation from the economic system so that it delivers the three main outcomes that we want to see, which is human well-being, social justice, and environmental sustainability. This means making a huge shake-up of the fundamentals behind the way we do economics today. It means that instead of trying to get maximum returns from our capital, we are trying to get maximum returns from our natural resources in terms of human well-being. So the economic system is what happens of these two main factors. The input factor ultimately is the natural resources, and the output that we want to see of the economy is the human well-being, people living happier lives. So the economy is what we do in between to ensure that we use our natural resources, which are limited, to deliver well-being to all citizens in the planet. Well, there are one strategy towards moving towards a green economy, taking as a starting point the current economic crisis within we face ourselves today, is first of all we need to stabilize the economy. We need to create jobs. That's a priority. No one questions that. But we need to do so in a way that reduces carbon emissions, that reduces our dependency from fossil fuels, and in a socially inclusive way. There are many ways to generate wealth and jobs at the same time that we reduce carbon emissions and that we reduce our dependency on fossil fuels, and while we restore the natural capital that we depend on. So in the short term or mid-term, we need to move towards let's call it a Green New Deal. We need to invest in sectors that create jobs and that at the same time reduce carbon emissions, reduce our dependency on fossil fuels, and help have a healthier environment. However, we need to go beyond that. With a Green New Deal or a green growth strategy, we will not have enough, because the current situation has shown very clearly that the economic growth model which we are following, it's very unstable. Therefore, we need to move towards a new model where we run an economy which is stable, which does not necessarily depend on growth to keep going. Because at the moment we see that if we grow, we have a problem. We have climate change, we have several impacts. If we stop growing, we have problems. We have unemployment, we have huge debt, we have problems to pay our pensions. Therefore, we find ourselves trapped between a rock and a hard place. So the response or the strategy, the response to the crisis needs to go in the direction of the green economy. And this means responding to the triple crisis we face today and at the same time building the cornerstones of an economic model which is stable without growth. Well, it's quite interesting to see how most governments and experts on the issue agree on the need to reduce our carbon emissions and to build a stronger renewable energy system and to create jobs. There is consensus that we want to improve the state of our natural environment, that climate change is a serious issue. That all is well understood. There is also consensus that you can grow or you can run your economy in a way that is compatible with the environment and at the same time delivering jobs and everything we need to have a fulfilled life. However, this consensus contrasts very starkly with the reality that we see, which is the way governments are responding to the economic crisis today. Most governments in Europe, which is the ones I know the best what they are doing, are responding to the crisis presenting the environment or the environmental protection as a constraint to progress, when actually the natural conservation, the environmental protection, as we have seen, is a condition for progress. So it's very frustrating to see this double discourse going on. It's very frustrating to see how countries like the UK, for example, in their pre-budget, George Osborne, the Chancellor of Treasury, said that nature conservation should not be constraining businesses. After that, there was a review of nature conservation policies showing that actually they never constrained businesses. So there is still this discourse, this messaging going out that the environmental protection is something we cannot afford, that it is a luxury, when actually what is a luxury is not to care for the environment. We find the same in Spain, where the government is continuously giving the hint that the way to move forward is to go back to the construction sector, to build more houses, to deregulate the planning system so that more houses will be built and this will reactivate the economy. This goes totally against the direction that we need to follow. Finally, there is another case study or very clear example about what should not be done, which is the big mega casino called Eurovegas, which is being discussed there are two main contenders, which is Barcelona and Madrid, which are contending for this option, which is an option that within itself will perpetuate the ecological instability of the whole system, because it requires more people traveling, it requires a system and a way of doing things that does exactly the opposite that we need to move towards a green economy. As an individuals, we need to go beyond our role as consumers or voters. Of course, as a consumer and as a voter, we can do quite a lot. We need to move into our role as an investor. Where do we have our savings? With who do we bank with? We also need to change the way our diet habits, for example. It's still, every time I come back to Spain or Catalonia, it shocks me how much meat and fish is in the daily menus. It seems that if you don't eat fish or meat one day, something's going to happen to you. After having lived in the UK for 10 years now, I realize that actually you can spend a whole week eating meat maybe twice or once, and fish only twice or once, and you are perfectly healthy and happy. So changing where you have your money, voting the right political parties that say the right thing, changing your diet habits, and buying those products which are from companies that are trying to do the right thing are for very, very basic actions that citizens could start doing now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.